Hello everyone, it's Susan here. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to continue on in my Just Because book, and we're going to have some crafty chit chat and do some slow stitching. So this is, let me move this to the side over here. So this is my little Just Because book. And if you're not familiar with the Just Because book, it is something that Susan Taylor Brown came up with, and I have her YouTube link below. And she does amazing textile work, and yeah, I really enjoy her channel. And once a week she does a live, and it's just fun. It's just nice. So then this piece right here, we sewed these 3 pieces of fabric on last week, and I'll have the playlist below of all the videos for this Just Because book. And as you can see, I went and I added a butterfly, I added some chenille, I did the cantha stitching in one area of it right here. I added a little heart. I put the Tim Holtz Be True on here. I added some beautiful eyelet trim. I just sewed it right onto the back. Yeah, and I don't know that I'm done. I'm thinking I might be done. I don't know, but you know, more to come on that. Okay, so today we're going to work on covering up the inside of the front cover. And so that's the front cover, and we're going to cover this up. I did already sew on this little block right here, and I know that that's going to go right there. And so what I used for this block was, this is an old piece of crewel, like a pattern that I had torn up, and I put this pretty piece of fabric on here. And yeah, I did some cross stitching around it. I added that same eyelet trim over here, and then I just left this raw. I didn't put any fabric on top of the base of it. I just thought it was super pretty, and we're gonna, in this video, we're gonna work on this, and we're gonna decorate that all up and make it pretty. So I'm gonna move that to the side. Now, the first thing that I want to do, I do know I want to sew this piece of lacy trim onto this piece, but I want to dye it first. And I'm just going to show you how I do it. I mean, it's, you know, it's all the same. You just use different, you know, mediums, right? So different, whether you're using, you know, spray inks or paints, acrylic paints, watercolor paints, whatever the case may be. And the watercolor paints that I'm using are actually Dr. P.H. Martin's. It's the Hydrus set, which is right here, and I've had for many years, and I'm like, well, I'm going to take it out and I'm going to use it. So I have the quinacridone magenta, and I just need, I'm just going to take like 2 drops. And I do have some white here in case I need to tone it down, and there's a really good chance I'm going to have to do that. And of course, what I'm doing is going to be like way too much for this one little piece. So, you know, later I will definitely go in and dye more. I don't want to waste all this yumminess. But all I'm doing, well, I don't know if this is going to work with this piece. Doesn't look very porous. I'm just going to kind of push it in there. I'm using the other end of my paintbrush just to try to protect my hands. I am. You know, I think I'm going to have to get in there. Let me do this, because this piece of trim is not super porous. I've done this before, and oh my gosh, the lace just soaked it up. Absolutely soaked it up. Okay, so that looks good. That will work. And I'm liking the fact that it is not a solid color. So what I'm gonna do, and I was hoping that this would be a lot wetter, and it's not. I'm almost tempted. You know what? What the heck? What the heck? Let's do this, everybody. Yeah, let's go for it. Because there's something I want to do, and it's, yeah. So, excuse me. So, and I need it really wet to do what I wanted to do. So I have this piece of fabric. It is a piece of a linen napkin, which I use a lot in my slow stitching. And to dry this, I wanted to put it on here, lay it out, and of course that beautiful pink is gonna go into this fabric. And then it's like I'm dyeing the fabric at the same time, and I'll be able to use this on my, in my slow stitching in my Just Because book. So I'm just gonna wipe all this off. And you know what I'm tempted to do right now, right? I'm so tempted to take that and just pour it on here. Should I? Like, I'm gonna lift this. Like, look at how amazing that looks already. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna think about that. I'm not 100% sure. But what I do wanna do is I wanna move this off of my table so that I don't get it on any of my fabric that I don't want it on. Okay, so I move that to the side. This I just need to dry, and we will be sewing this on. I'm just going to move that to the side, and let's bring back the little block that we're going to work on. Okay, so I took out a few different things that I'm thinking of using on this block, and I think the very first thing, like, I already have in my head kind of what I want to do. So I would like to, and I do this fairly often on pieces that I make. In fact, I did it on the front here. I like to take fabric or laces or whatever and do like a scrunched up sewing of it. It's kind of like ruffles, but I think it's a little bit more, I don't know. I want to say, I don't know, tightly sewn. Is that the right way to say it? So I do have some threads ready for this, and I have this beautiful pink. It's a beautiful, beautiful shade of pink. And I purchased that at a reuse it shop. Excuse me, excuse my arm. I'm going to close my curtain. The sun is starting to come in. It's only 10 after 8 in the morning. So the sun is just coming around now. But anyway, I had purchased that at like a reuse it shop in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And all I like to do, I actually have 3 things here. I have this bottom piece of like lace. I have a piece of a ribbon back here. And then I have a piece of dyed seam binding on top, that brighter yellow. And so on top of that, I'm using pink, this nice bright pink thread. I don't know what this is, but to me it's like a pearl thread. It doesn't say anything on it, so I'm not really sure, but that's what it feels like. So all I do, you know, you guys I'm sure know this, but this is all I do. So instead of taking it to my machine to stitch or anything like that, this is what I like to do. So because I can manipulate it, right? So now I have the pink thread in there, and I can pull it. So I can make this as long or as short as I would like. And it looks pretty because you can see all 3 pieces. You can see the bottom lacy part, of course, the ribbon, and then the seam binding. So then what I do, and I don't really, I just kind of do it. I don't know. I guess, I don't know. I get it on there whichever way looks good to me. So I know I want it down here, not too close to the edge, but something like that. So at this moment, I'm just going to come around and I want to scrunch this little end up a little bit more here. So let's see. So, and then I'm just going to sew it on. So what I like to do is, like, I'll just kind of do these little stitches in between some of the, sorry, I got all kinds of threads over here, in between the little ruffles. So like I have one little stitch I just did right there. So now I'm going to go, and I don't, well, you know what, I'm going to actually scoot over here. Now I'm going to go in between this ruffle right here and do just another little stitch. All I'm doing is basically tacking it down. And I wanted to use this pink because I wanted it to show. So most of the time when I'm sewing, when I'm stitching, I like to use colors that are really going to show up, because in my head, it's like, I think that, well, if I'm taking the time to do this stitching, I want to be able to see it. So that's the way that I think. And so most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, I do like to use threads that, like I say, are contrasting to the fabric or lace or whatever that I'm sewing on. So that's it. That's all I need. That little piece, I think I might, let's see, I want it to look, I don't want it to look so scrunchy on the ends. So maybe what I'll do is, let me go ahead and tack this little piece up here. And yes, you'll be able to see it. And I'm just doing a little tack, and I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be awesome. I just want to get these in places where it's not, yeah, where I want it to be. Okay, so I like that end, right? You see how this one's scrunched all together? It's like coming together, and now this one is separated out. I'm gonna waste a lot of thread doing this, and I say that only because I'm over here right now with my thread, and I'm gonna come all the way over here. But I'm gonna do it because why not? I'm sure that that big pink spool of thread, I probably paid, I don't know, I don't remember what I paid, but probably something like, I don't know, 50 cents or $1. So, you know, it's not like it cost me a ton of money or anything. I've had it for years. I know exactly where I got it, but I don't remember the cost. All right, and then I think the last, maybe I'll put one more little stitch in here. So this is fun. This is a lot of fun. I think I'm going to put one stitch right here. See how that's popping up? And I can leave it popping up, but I feel like having it down. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little stitch in. And then that's going to be like my little ruffly cluster down there. And isn't that fun? It's just fun. And so now I have used, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. Now I have used like 3 pieces of like scrappy stuff, right, just from in my stash, and I love it. It's like super cool. So I do happen to have these little clusters that I made, and I was thinking about maybe pulling this in, but I don't know. I don't know. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and see this long piece right here. I feel like I don't I don't know. I don't normally do that, but in this case I did. So let's talk about some crafty chit chat stuff. So I have been cleaning out my basement, and and I did it like, I don't know, a year and a half ago, but for whatever reason, I don't know, got rid of a lot of stuff, and really like even like moved stuff like from one area of my basement to another. I don't have a big house, and I don't have a big storage space. So, I have to put, a lot of stuff in a small amount of space. And so I did that over a few weeks. I don't know that I can get that on there. And so I went through actually I touched basically every piece of crafty type stuff I have downstairs. And actually, what is today? Today, this video will go live on Monday. So Tuesday, tomorrow, you're going to see a video. Look at that. Isn't that cute? You're going to see a video of my space downstairs in the basement. I mean, I don't craft down there, but I do have, like, it's my kind of like, I would call it, I guess, my overflow area, because I do have a craft room, which I'm sitting in right now, and which of course is filled with stuff, yummy stuff. But I have a lot of different types of crafts. I don't know, I like to switch things up, but I did a mixed media tag last week, and I love mixed media. I mean, I used to call myself, where the heck is the hole? I used to call myself a mixed media artist, but I haven't done it in years, or not a lot of it. I can't get this in the hole. Seriously? Really? Okay, I know it's there. Oh, isn't that funny? I cannot find that hole. One moment, please. One moment. Oh, there we go. So, yeah, so back to the mixed media piece. So I did that tag a week ago, and I absolutely, it felt like going home. It was just wonderful. So I've decided to do more mixed media, and a lot of my mixed media stuff is downstairs. So yeah, so I don't know, if you feel like it, tomorrow night or tomorrow, my videos go live really at midnight Eastern time. And yeah, check out, I'll be doing a little tour of my basement and what my plans are with all that stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna have like a new little series coming up. So all right, so I'm loving that. I'm loving it. Are you loving it? I think it's super cute. This is still drying. Look at this beautiful piece of fabric. Oh my gosh, I'm loving it. You know what I think I'm going to do is I'm just gonna do this just to make sure. I probably shouldn't have done it right on here. That I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to do it on the side over here. Yeah, look at that. It even made, look at the beautiful, it's like a stencil almost, or a stamp, by pressing down on that. Oh, wow. Oh, it's gorgeous. But I want it to dry because I want to sew it on here. So, yep. But anyways, okay. So yeah, so I have that going on. Oh, let me show you something I found down there. Let me show you. So I've had this stuff for years. Let me see if I can zoom back out. And I thought, oh my gosh, how awesome would it be to slow stitch on these canvas pieces. And I have 5 of these, which I bought at Recollections on clearance for 99 cents. I don't know, 8 years ago. I don't know, a long time ago. And so they are, it's called burlap ribbon. And so I have these colors. Beautiful, right? But look at this. Look at, what does that kind of remind you of? Look at that. It's 2 yards long. Not that I would need it that long. And it's probably 4 inches about wide. But wow, this is perfect to do, you know, like a fabric roll, or, you know, just anything where I can just sew right onto this, right? So it's already a roll. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm taking all this stuff upstairs because I need to start using this. Or I can even make little books out of this, little journals to sew on. So my next Just Because book might be made with some of this stuff. Look at this. I have this big roll. This is, I don't know, probably close to 18 inches long this way, or wide this way. And it's really, there's a lot on here. There's a good amount on here. But I would love to use this in a slow stitch journal. That would be like so fun. I would love to. And also I have this. So this is, well, it's burlap on clearance from Michaels. That's a Michaels sticker. Yeah, so it's 1.5 yards. But like, look at this. This would be a ton of fun to use on one of the, you know, pages, or even make a journal cover out of, whether it's slow stitch or, you know, a junk journal, or whatever the case may be. So those are the things that I found. Well, some of them that I brought upstairs, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get using that stuff. And, you know, and some of it is, excuse me, is just, you know, stuff that I bought. I probably bought that for a whole different purpose. And I have no idea what it is or was, right? But, yeah, so I'm excited. I am definitely excited. And you'll see me using that stuff for sure, for sure. So another thing that I found were these little rings. I think that they are truly meant to be rings, I think, like for your fingers. Let me zoom in again. But like really cheap ones. Like, I don't know, were these my granddaughter's when she was little? I have no idea what they're from. But anyways, so I thought, well, I'm going to bring those up and use them on my slow stitch piece. So I thought it would just look pretty sewn around this little button right here. So I'm just sewing it on. I'm only doing like one stitch in all these different, like in between these pink petals from the pink flower I put down. Yeah, so I have 2 flowers down, right? So I did a little layering with the flowers. Then I sewed it all on with that button, right? So I sewed all 3 at once. And now for some extra decoration, and because, well, why not? Just because. Because this is my Just Because slow stitch journal. And I thought it would be fun. So that's what I decided to do. And then I think in this video we'll do one more thing, and then that will be it for today. And I'll be back next Monday for another crafty chit chat and slow stitching. So look at how cute that looks, right? Look at how cute. So when you see something, you know, just think outside the box, and it's like, ugh, yeah, I can sew that on. If it's sewable, I'm like, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, I just made a weird knot there. Um, and we're gonna sew one more thing onto this piece, and then for right now, it's going to be done. And let me snip that off. So I like that. I think that that's pretty. The last thing for in this video that I wanted to do, I have this plastic, I don't know, is that a moth or a butterfly? But I thought it would be pretty to pull that color in, because the opposite page of this little book has blue on it. So I thought it would be nice because there's a little bit of pink here, just a little bit. I just have some pink thread up there. And I thought if I pulled this over here, it would help the two pages, you know, to look more cohesive. And not that they have to, and not that I'll always do that, but for this, oh, I forgot. We have to sew this on. We have to sew this on. I almost forgot. So I'm going to do this real quick, and we'll sew that lace on, and then we're done. So this is a fairly heavy piece of plastic. So I am not going to be able to sew through it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some black thread, and I'm going to just kind of do, oops, a couple stitches just to get it on there to where I know it's not going to go anywhere. So easy peasy. Easy peasy. I think I'll do another, so it's not just one. I'll go one more time, and then that's going to be it for this little guy to get him on there. And I like how he, you know, pops because he's on that white background. Super cute. You know what? And these are things as I'm doing other projects. Like these are like leftover pieces, and I'm like, oh, can I use that? And most of the time the answer is sure I can. So yeah, that's how I roll. That's how I roll. Alrighty. And what I'm finding is that using the pearl number 8 thread, yeah, it's definitely, I have to say, my favorite to stitch with. It definitely is. So yeah. Yep, I find it doesn't knot as much. Oh, I had even pulled out these little bees. I'm not going to use them on this page. Or maybe I will, but just not in this video. I don't know. I might sew those on. I don't know. We'll see. But so the last thing we're going to do, and this is almost dry, is I just wanted to sew this up top here, like that. So it's going to go in between the front cover and this page. So it'll be like this. So you'll be able to see it from the front. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that pretty? Okay, so let's get this sewn on and we're good. And I'm hoping that my fingers don't turn pink, but if they do, that's okay. So now I have to decide, well, what kind of thread do I want? What color? What color? So in this case, I'm thinking I don't want my thread to show. So I can select one of these two, a white or an off-white. I'm going to go with the off-white. And let's go ahead and needle this up. I find that I have several different types of needles. Now remember, I'm new to this, so it's like I'm trying everything out. It's like, what do I like? What don't I like, right? And I have found, and I can't, yeah, I have found, oh, I don't know that I can get this through here. I have found, there we go, that the chenille needles are probably the ones that I like the most. Yeah, so, yep. All right, what needles do you guys like the most? I mean, I would like to try more needles, different kinds of needles. All right, you know what? I think I'm gonna just pin this on here. Just one little pin, if it'll, yeah, just like that. Okay, and here we go. So I have to sew. I have to make sure that I'm sewing this section right here so it actually stays on. So let me, it's all tucked under right there. So let me do this. I'm just gonna sew from the back just for a second here. And come through, make sure that I'm coming through that, I call it the meteor, meteor, M-E-A-T-I-E-R, is that a word, or did I just make that up? The meteor part of the lace, because you know, lace sometimes has very little to it, and you just want to make sure that you're actually capturing sewing on a piece that's going to hold it down, right? Okay, so doing good, doing good. I think I'm just going to keep kind of doing what yeah, I'm going to sew upside down. And I think that will be the best thing to do here. So I'm already thinking about my next Just Because book. In Susan's live last week, she showed this little Just Because book, and I fell in love with it. I don't know how big it was, Susan, if you're watching this, and if you just happen to know, I'm not asking you to go measure it, but what the size of that little one was, I would say it was probably maybe like 1.5 inches by 2.5 inches, something like that. So teeny, 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 tiny. And I thought it would be a blast to work on something like that. Yeah, so, all right. So this is on, and we are done for today. All right. Well, I want to thank you all for being here and watching, and I'm really enjoying, you know, having you all here and being able to chit chat with all of you. Yeah, it's been a blast for sure, and I'm going to keep going every Monday. I have my crafty chit chat and slow stitching videos where I can just take my time and work on some slow stitching with all of you. So that's what it's going to look like on the inside. I don't know if I'm going to do any more. I kind of feel like I want to move forward, and I'm excited to work on the next block already, but I do have to sew this down on here. Yep. And you can hear my parrot, sorry. All right, so that is it for today. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, I'll see you next Monday. All righty, and I'll be back tomorrow with a new series for my mixed media. Okay, all right, thanks everybody. God bless. Bye-bye.